Hi YouTube. Today we're going to talk about a touchy subject with some motorcycle owners. This is my 2005 1200 Custom Sportster, and this has been referred to by many people as a girl's bike. Well, I'm going to walk you through the journey of why I have this bike, how it ended up like this, and hopefully I'm going to let you understand that this is not a girl's bike because I'm not a girl and I own it. Okay, when I bought this bike about 5 years ago, it was just a regular black and gold 1200 Custom. Um, there's nothing special about it, and I was happy with it. A friend of mine talked me into getting a motorcycle. He got into motorcycle riding. I hadn't owned the bike in a long time, and I bought it, and I was happy with it. Well, the motorcycle ended up getting stolen, and when it was recovered, it was wrecked. So I had the bike repaired. I had it painted satin black. I had a couple things done to it, and I was happy with it. Well, it cost a lot of money to do all that, and it was my fault for putting that much money into it and everything. Well, not soon thereafter, the engine blew up. And I thought to myself, you know what? What am I going to do with this thing? Throw it away? Or am I just going to fix it and make it the way I want to make it? So that's what I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through from front to back to everything that I've done to this bike. And full disclosure here, if you're thinking that I would ever get the money out of this bike that I've put into it, you're wrong. And I knew that, and I knew that going into it. However, if I was to go buy a new bike, I would have to do everything that I did to this bike to make it the way I wanted it to make it. And I already had this one. So let's walk over to this thing, and I'll walk you through a few things, and you decide whether it's a girl's bike or not. Okay, we're going to start off with, I put fat spoke wheels on it. It's been painted satin black. I put fork covers on it. I put a tank bag on it. Not a tank bag, a fork bag on it. It's got passing lamps. They're all LED. The turn signals are integrated into the passing lamps. I've got 10-inch mini apes handlebars on it. Now, in order to do that on this bike, I had to have this riser custom made. Now, if you walk around here on this particular model bike, you'll notice that the gear indicators and turn signal indicators are built into the riser. So that doesn't make it a very easy task to do. So what I did is I took a stock 1200 custom riser, and I had it cut off and angled right here, and I had it powder coated black, and that gives it a 2-inch lift with 10-inch bars, makes it a 12-inch rise. Sits perfectly for me. Now, it's got different mirrors put on it. It's got different grips put on it. Those are S&S grips. It's got a RAM mount for the phone. It's got a built-in charger that charges your phone. I've got the Harley Davidson digital speedometer on it, and we'll go into why I did that here in a second. But that covers the front end of it, I think. So let's walk around here and look at a couple other things. It's got a crash bar installed in it. It's got a stereo system. The amp for the stereo system is mounted inside the saddlebag. It's got forward controls on it in black. I changed the emblems on it. It's got brushed aluminum emblems on it. It's got a touring seat on it. It's got a sissy bar on the back of it. It's got Viking bags that lock on it. It's got all LED turn signals, brake lights, running lights, everything. Turn signals also work as running lights. It's got a cup holder on it. It's got an air horn on it. Pretty much every accessory you can think to put on this bike, I have. Now we're going to go into the engine. This is was originally a 1200cc Sportster. And when it blew up, I went into the Harley Davidson dealership and they wanted $6,800 for a replacement engine, and they handed it to you and they said, good luck, go install it. Well, I'm not going to do that. So what I did is, a friend of mine located a 2016 or 2017 883 fuel injected engine that only had 57 miles on it, and we know that because all the electronics came with it, including the speedometer and everything. It was documented. And I purchased the motor. We got it shipped down here and everything, and I took it to a local bike shop, and what they did is incredible. We bought the S&S Hooligan kit. It's a 1250 big bore kit, and it comes with the cylinders, the cams. It has high performance cams and everything. And we had to take my stock 1200 heads. They were ported and polished, bigger valves put in it, different valve springs to make up for the cams that were put in it, and installed those on top of it. It's got the Harley Davidson derby cover. That's all been powder coated, kind of the two-tone look and everything. Everything's like the two-tone look on this, the chrome and the black. It's got a Rolling Sands high flow air filter. It's got a Mikuni 42 carburetor on it. We did away with the CV carburetor and put this Mikuni. I think everybody should do that. All the rocker covers have been powder coated. All the side cover has been powder coated on it. It has Python / cut pipes on it, which are made by Vance and Hines. They're the only pipes I could find that had the / cuts on it. So they work out really well. They sound really well. I have another video of this bike running, starting up running. Now this bike, with everything that's done to it, makes around 100 horsepower. A stock 1200cc Sportster makes 58 horsepower. So for around $1,000 less, turnkey, I have 100 horsepower brand new engine put in this thing. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. This thing will scoot. It will ride. I ride with a group of guys. They all have big twin bikes. Not one of them will this thing not keep up with. Not one of them. And this isn't a race in life. If you want a fast bike, this is not what you need to buy. You need to go buy a Hayabusa. Because no matter what you do to any Harley Davidson, you're never going to outrun one of those bikes, ever. But if you want something that just has a little bit of power and ungodly amounts of torque, this is the one to buy. Now, it takes a lot of money to do this to this motorcycle, but it is very unique. Most people cannot even tell what model Harley Davidson it is. It doesn't say Sportster anywhere on it. And most people like it. I like it. I'm 6 feet tall, weigh 225 pounds, and I fit on this bike perfectly. I'm a day trip guy. I do not ride all the way across the country. I don't have the time or really the desire to do that. But we do 200 mile, 250 mile day trips, round trip. It does fine. It does not have a windshield on it. I've never found a windshield that will correctly fit on it that I would be happy with, so I just go without a windshield. But to call something like this a girl's bike, I just do not understand that. People that talk like that just want to insult somebody else for something they don't have. Most people don't even have a motorcycle that says stuff like that. But true motorcycle people, I've never heard one person say anything bad about this thing, ever. But total cost to do this is by far more than this bike is worth on the KBB. Just building the engine alone costs more than this bike's probably worth. I like it that it's a carbureted bike. There's no complicated electronics or anything. It was a little bit of a challenge to get that Mikuni carburetor put on it correctly and everything, but now that it runs. It's got an S&S ignition module in it where they had the advanced timing and turn the rev limiter up. The reason I put that digital speedometer in it is from the factory, this bike did not come with a tach. And once this engine was built, this thing winds up so fast it was hitting the rev limiter, and I didn't have a tachometer to gauge when to shift it. So I installed that tachometer, and that fixed that problem right away. But it's a beast, 100 horsepower, and this bike is so much lighter than those big twin bikes. That's why it's able to keep up with them. There's Harley Davidsons now that make more than 100 horsepower right from the factory, but they weigh a lot. It's power to weight ratio. But like I said, I've never encountered out riding on the road another Harley Davidson that this bike wouldn't keep up with. It does just fine on 200-mile trips. It will go down the interstate 50 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour, whatever you want to do it. It will do it. It doesn't have a problem doing any of them. So, you tell me, is it a girl's bike? I would love to see one of those people's motorcycles that call this a girl's bike. I'd like to see if they could keep up with it. My guess is they couldn't, but maybe they could. But the definition of a girl's bike is a motorcycle owned by a girl. And I am not a girl. Trust me when I tell you that. Anyway, if you want to look at the video of the bike running, I have another video out there of it running. It gives a bunch of close-ups of the engine. You can hear the cam in it and everything. This bike will start up cold, just like nothing. It never did all that before. The Mikuni carburetor fixed all of that. It's perfectly reliable. I would trust to ride this bike anywhere. But anyway, it's just a little short video going through some of the stuff that make this bike the way it was. And there was a lot of work and a lot of effort put into it by a lot of people. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions on it. I will be happy to answer them for you. Thank you for watching.